Meteosat 4. That'd be me then, wouldn't it? Okie dokie, we've got a slight frost expected overnight. The low -1 Celsius, that's 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Cloudy with rain during the late morning and early afternoon, turning to drizzle later today. The outlook for the weekend, mild and windy with rain. The air quality is very good, so you can breathe as much as you like, and the temperature now is freezing point.
The best music on the best station. Beacon Radio.
Okie dokie, me old culture lovers, it's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC, and tonight is that glittering night. It's the penultimate Midnight Line, really, of the series. Penultimate, I had to look it up before I came out. I initialised the computer, shall we? We haven't done that for a long time. Right, computer initialised. Penultimate means next to last, or at least it did when I looked it up in the Oxford English Dictionary, though that of course may have changed since, you can tell. So we do it, missus. It's traditional, absolutely traditional this week in December to do the plank of the year. And tomorrow night to round off the, I can't remember how many series of Midnight Lines I've done now. I think this is the 6th. Yes, it is. So the next one will be the 7th series of the Midnight Line. And so tomorrow night, to round off a highly unsuccessful series, no, just joshing really, we'll have a free-for-all, so you can talk about anything you want to talk about on the last night of the Midnight Line for 1993. There are sort of things happening next week. Like, for example, on Monday, it's Santa's Grotto. With me being Santa, and you can phone up and visit Santa's fabulous grotto on Monday. And we've also got a surprise guest in. We've got a studio audience, and we've got a surprise guest as well. And I can't tell you anything about that, because otherwise it wouldn't be a surprise, would it? So, you know, just have to tune in to find out. So what are we doing tonight that's so glittering and so daring and so lovey-darling, sweetie? Well, we come to the awards ceremony. Every month we do a plank of the month, and every December we do a plank of the year. So who's going to win it? It's up to you to nominate them. It can be absolutely anybody, you know. If you don't like your next door neighbour, why don't you nominate them? If you don't like the guy down, say, the pet shop, because he chucked you out. Because you walked in and he said, "Can I help you?" And you said, "No, it's all right, I'm just looking for something a little bit different for dinner." It could be him. It could be anybody who's mightily offended you. Use it as a strategic weapon to hit people back. It can be the mighty, it can be the not so mighty. Usually the government tend to get a few votes, strangely enough. But there again, if you will go around trying to freeze old people to death, and you will go round cutting the students' grants, and you will go round dismantling the health service, then what do you expect, quite frankly? For own fault. Let him who's without sin cast a vote and all that stuff, what's in the Bible, because it's, well, coming up for Christmas, isn't it? So I'll go a bit biblical on you. So it is plank of the year. I must write that down on my computer in huge letters so I don't say plank of the month, because continuity is pretty helpful than to try and edit out. So you can vote for whomsoever you wish to vote for. Person with the most votes at the end of the night, well, they win it. It can be a person, it can be an organisation, absolutely anything. They get the most votes. They whom get the most votes, rather, they go off, they'll get a letter sent off to them, informing them that we all think that they're the biggest plank of 1993. So it is a glittering occasion. As you can see, I've got my beautiful white dinner jacket on and red bow tie, looking absolutely stunning, if I may say so. So all you've got to do is cast your votes on 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. And if we've never heard from you before, then seize this opportunity with both hands, missus, and give us a bell. Why not? You've got to do it sometime, and you know you want to, really. All right, before we go to the lines, who's been writing to me? Well, actually, it's from Italy, that one. Elisa Gutteridge, and really a great deal of points to reading that out. She wants it done on Sunday, the 19th of November, during David and I's mightily amusing Sunday show on Beacon. Right, okay, happy Christmas. How did we know it was Christmas? Oh no, wait a minute, that's the line I used for my birthday, isn't it? Southport Rule, the only team on Merseyside. Well, I think Tommy Rovers fans might disagree with that. To you, Mr. Ian Perry, and of course, Debbie Harry, alias Mrs. Ian Perry, happy Christmas, and greetings for the new year. It's life, Jim. Love the show and looking forward to Santa's Grotto. That's from Darren Humphreys. Please mention this on Tuesday night the 21st. Oh, right, okay, fair enough. She's told me about these things. Dear Ian Perry, I listen to your Midnight Line every night. I'm 19 years old and I'm doing a prison sentence. Good morning to the captive audience. I'm writing about Monday night when you said that old people should go to prison if they don't pay the poll tax or council tax. Did I say that? Well, shame on me and slap my wrists. I wouldn't have said that, would I? Oh, I don't know, I was probably just winding people up. I'm writing about Monday night when you said that old people should go to prison. Yes, I think that's what I said. I think old people should go to prison. I don't think I said anything about if they don't pay the poll tax. I believe myself that they shouldn't go to jail for something which they can't pay. Most of them can't afford to keep themselves warm through the winter, so how do you expect them to pay poll tax? Well, I don't, but the government do. But that's just my view, which is what we're interested in. We like your views. But at the end of the day, our system is screwed up. I'll give you a phone when I get out. Tell Vicky she has a very sweet voice. All the best for your birthday, Christmas and New Year. That's from John. Please, could you read this out Thursday night? Well, how about that, John? There we go. We've done that. There's my Crawley Christmas cards to... to Sir Ian Perry. I've opened this one. Sir Ian, I like the ring on that. Let's open this one then. Let's see who sent what. Nice little Santa on the front. There you go. Happy Christmas, Ian, from Maureen Lewis, January the 1st. He's getting closer. Please don't forget the photo. I wouldn't. Would I do that to you? Because I checked on the progress of the photos today, and they've been promised to the station before Christmas. They did say it was going to be here last week, but I'm afraid it wasn't. And also a birthday card from Maureen Lewis. There you go, because I don't know how it got out, but yes, indeed, folks. Is it a week tonight now? Yes, it is. Week today. It's my birthday. 35. And I'm in trouble again. Every time I open my mouth, I appear to get myself in trouble. Still, I suppose that's what I get paid for, really, isn't it? Dear Ian, I was listening to the Midnight Line earlier today, and I was disgusted at your comments about students and what they do in their free time. Well, I was a student, and I think I was just basing it on my free time. I hope the opinions you expressed were because you had your Tory hat on. Could have been. I can't remember what I said now. And I would not be impressed if they were your own personal opinions. Getting shouted at by a student. He's called John Myerscough. And he says, as a student, I've applied for a full loan of £800, as well as having a full LEA grant, Local Education Authority grant. I have £12 a week to spend on stationery, clothes, weekend food and entertainment. I'd like to know how I could spend all evening, every evening, in the Students' Union bar, as you claim students do. I don't think I did I? If I did, I was lying. Students don't drink more than other young people. Well, we did when I was a student. You're letting the side down. Students do not stay in bed most of the morning. Whoops. Oops. Lectures are begin at 9 o'clock. It's stupid to miss lectures because there is no prospect. There is the prospect of being kicked out at the end of the semester if you fail your exams. When Mr. Blobby Clark said something like not expecting the ordinary person to pay for all the student grants, shouldn't he have mentioned about MPs getting an inflation-busting wage increase when they shall only be in Parliament for 7 months? When the students leave university with their first-class honours degree, they might get a well-paid job and pay 40% tax, which they might not have been able to do with their degree, but they might end up unemployed for life. And then you wouldn't get your loan paid back. Okie dokie, fair point. I think I ought to be fair to me. John, was it? Can I call you John? Thank you. I think I should point out that life, I think I did sort of say that, well, life certainly changed since I was a student. There again, I did nology, you know, so I don't count anyway. All right, Belle Burrows, thank you for that. Best wishes for the 24th. Happy birthday, you're a very kind person. If we don't get to read your card out, and a Christmas card as well, you're a very kind person. If we don't get to read your card out before the weekend, then don't worry about it, because we'll read it on Santa's Grotto. So, 267 Tettenhall Road in Wolverhampton, 28 Castle Street in Shrewsbury. You want to drop me a line? There's one for Eric. We'll get those over to Big E. It is Plank of the Month. The computer's initialised. I'll re-initialise it. It's a A4 Japanese IBM compatible job. You know, no business should be without one. And first, to cast his nomination for Plank of the Year, it is Martin. Good morning.
Good morning, Ian.
Well, good morning to you, Martin.
Well, I just sat here thinking... It doesn't
No, I thought I could smell wood burning.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? I know. I didn't sound like... When I used to be a student, we used to spend our days working really hard and our evenings in the bar.
Well, we used to spend our days in bed and our evenings in the bar. Does that count?
Sundays in bed I used to spend.
No, this was anything with a Y in it.
That sounds good. Like, oh, day. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday.
That's that, absolutely.
But of
With a
course,
Y. Anything with a Y in it, spend it in bed.
I must admit, we used to have some really good pinball machines when I was at college.
Me too. Many's the lecture I've missed because I was playing pinball. I've got to be honest about it. That's probably why I only got a 2-2.
It doesn't matter. You get BA after your name or BSc. That's it. You're okay.
BSc Honours.
Well, of course you see. This is it because you were doing a science, but at some colleges they do psychology as a BA, I believe.
Do they really?
They did at Wolverhampton, I think.
Well, it should be banned.
Well, probably was. Well, I'm thinking about nominating... No, I'm going to nominate... I'll be quite firm on this. I'm going to nominate Kelvin Mackenzie, the editor of The Sun, for Plank of the Year award.
Kelvin Mackenzie? But surely he was not the one who printed those saucy pictures of Princess Diana leotard.
No, but I'm nominating him.
But we don't know his name, so we can't nominate him.
Well, I'm going to... That's true. I'm going to nominate him because apparently allegedly, his paper carried an article saying... Go off to... Oh, yes, Brits make a stash out of Malibu ash, implying that all the sort of unemployed British building workers had to do was to nip over to Malibu in California and say, hello, I'm British and I'm a building worker and I want a job, and they get £1,000 a week.
I bet half of them turned up at the drinks factory.
Well, apparently a lot of them turned up in... this is probably true. A lot of them turned up in California and they were told, I'm very sorry, there's no jobs for you at all. It's all a hope, all a con.
These would be the self-same people who appeared in the Daily Telegraph today.
Oh.
Well, hold on a minute. If the Sun told you, surely they get everything they deserve. If the Sun told you to do something, would you do it?
No, because I don't read the Sun.
Sun says stick your head in oven.
Well, there'd be some people who'd turn up with frazzled hair.
Yes, most definitely.
But, you see, the thing is, I mean, if people do read the Sun, unfortunately, I know that you, like me, find it sort of hard concept to believe that the words Sun and read don't sort of...
yeah, I don't mind page 3, that's all right.
Well. But it appears that they printed another one of their sort of famous, oh, well, perhaps it wasn't quite as accurate as it should have been stories.
Oops, never mind.
So, like when they printed an interview with a widow of Falklands veteran, which sort of didn't actually happen.
This would be the same paper that printed stories about Liverpool supporters urinating on the dead at Hillsborough. This would be the same paper that accused Liverpool supporters of rifling through the dead's pockets at Hillsborough. And this would be the paper that still is not bought on Merseyside, and quite rightly so.
Quite right too. I don't think it should be bought anywhere. But the thing is, the thing about the editor of The Sun, although he sort of likes to seems to like to deny this fact, he's actually an ex-public schoolboy.
Is he now?
He is indeed.
So you get a choice, do you, these days? If you're a public schoolboy or an ex-public schoolboy, you can either be a cabinet minister or a newspaper editor.
Because I remember what happened was he was interviewed sort of by one of the parliamentary commissions, whatever they call themselves, and someone said, well, he was whittering on about something, and one of the members of the parliamentary commission said, well, aren't you a ex-public schoolboy? And he sort of said, only a very minor one.
Well, yes, I'd agree with that.
It's like sort of saying, I'm only slightly pregnant, thank you very much.
Well, what do you get at public school, eh? What do you get? Top class education, yeah?
Yes.
And a taste for the sexually perverse.
That's why he's editor of The Sun, perhaps, allegedly.
Well, possibly. Allegedly. Let's
we've got to throw a lot of allegedlys in there.
Liberally sprinkle those around. So, I can't help thinking, though, that people, if you want to read something in The Sun and it says, go to Malibu, there's jobs, and you believe it.
Maybe they're just desperate. Really so desperate, they believe anything.
Well, that's a very tragic state of affairs, if that is true.
But it's true, isn't it? I think there's people who've been out of work for 2-3 years and think, my last chance, they've got lots of jobs in Malibu, I'll go over there, and they nip over there, and then, well, you know, because I think some people do unfortunately think that if it's printed in a newspaper, then it's, it must be true.
Yes, even more worryingly, people think if they hear it on the radio, it must be true. Let me tell you, never believe anything you ever read in the papers or hear on the radio, especially not if you hear it off me. Don't believe that. That is highly likely to be a lie. Listen, Martin, Kelvin Mackenzie.
Yep.
We've got him in.
Well, up Kelvin Mackenzie. And Mr. Blobby, the Chancellor of the Chancellor, Mr. Blobby.
Mr. Blobby, the Chancellor.
Not Mr. Blobby, the nice chap with the spots.
Okay.
I mean, my God,
Mr. Blobby, the horrible chap with the spots.
Well, yeah, we complained about acne, but I mean, poor old Mr. Blobby, Noel Edmonds, well, never mind.
Clear as sill. That's what they
Oh,
want.
okay.
Perfect Christmas present. Okay, then, so
Okay,
Mr.
thanks
Blobby
a lot,
the
Ian.
Chancellor and Kelvin Mackenzie are nominated. Consider them in there.
Thanks a lot, Ian.
Ta-ra.
Bye.
There we go, Plank of the Year on Beacon and WABC. Martin kicking off the voting with Kelvin Mackenzie, editor of The Sun, and Mr. Blobby the Chancellor. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's the Midnight Line Plank of the Year, a glittering occasion, and we'd like your nominations.
Oh, look. Local phone company permanently cuts cost of 3-minute national calls at weekends by up to 60%. Compared to...
On the best station. Beacon Radio.
Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. What a glittering occasion it isn't. Plank of the Year, we want your nominations on 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury to find out who the culture lovers deem to be the biggest plank of 1993. Kelvin Mackenzie and Mr. Blobby the Chancellor. They have each received one vote each. You don't just have to have one, you can have a few if you want. So next, I've been told this about 300 times and I've forgotten it again. No, I understand why. Somebody's messed around with the line sequencing numbery thingies in here. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning, Mark. And welcome to this glittering occasion.
Couldn't miss it.
Couldn't, could you, eh?
Just
Well,
couldn't miss it, no.
Only do it once a year. Annual Plank of the Year.
Would be totally unfashionable, wouldn't it?
It would. Totally and completely unfashionable to have missed it. Why, you might as well go out tomorrow and order yourself a brown suit.
Absolutely.
As my old nan used to say to me, never trust anybody wearing brown trousers. I think she's absolutely right. Especially if you're sitting in a car with them or something like that.
Yes.
I think she's absolutely right. Those anoraks.
Yes, yes.
Although, shame on me, I do have to confess I actually own an anorak, but I don't wear it, honest.
Oh, well.
I think my dad gave it me or something. I was too nice to sort of say, I'm not wearing that. It's completely, it's fashion suicide, man. I'm not wearing that. Anyway, it is Plank of the Year. Welcome to the glittering occasion.
Right.
Who are you going to cast your votes for?
Well, I'm going to be a little bit original and say Shabba Ranks, that reggae singer.
Shabba Ranks.
Shabba Ranks.
Now, he was the guy that I refused to play, and I can't for the life of me now remember why.
Well, I will remind you. He was the idiot that took it upon himself to broadcast his rather bigoted views about gay and lesbian men and women
That would be the reason,
on
then.
television. And, for all to hear. And he made some really quite very offensive remarks. Extremely rude and totally unnecessary.
More offensive than, by the way, we're putting VAT on fuel.
Well, obviously that's a different thing. I mean, that is offensive.
But in that league.
In that league, as far as I'm concerned, really there's enough prejudice without people who are supposed to act as role models, if you like.
But you see, I'm not siding with him at all because I think his sentiments were gross, and I did say at the time that no Shabba Ranks record would be heard while I was cruising the airwaves, largely because of that. But you say he's got to be a role model, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, I get accused of this. I get letters saying, you're a role model, you shouldn't say things like you used to bunk off school. And at the end of it, I think you've just got to be who you are.
Well, yes, but you don't say things which are offensive in that way. At least I don't think you do. I mean, he was deliberately being offensive. I mean, I saw that interview, and I can tell you that he was being totally offensive. And, I mean, he's got no talent anyway. But apart from that, to actually, I mean, there is just too much prejudice anyway. I mean, what are the youth going to think when they hear that? They're going to think that it's right to treat gay and lesbian people as some kind of outcast, because he said it, it's got to be right. I mean, young people are influenced, whether we like it or not. And, I commend you for not sort of playing his records. I think that was really very good, but a lot of other people are still playing his records. And
well, there's that. There's largely I don't like his sentiments, but I mean, more than that, I think they're crap anyway.
They are. I mean, he's got no talent, but I think that makes it even more annoying that he should be able to sit there on British television on a national
programme and make those kind of remarks.
But then where do you draw the line? Because one of my big beefs is about censorship. I've always held the view that I'm not an elected member of Parliament or anything like that, and my role is largely that of a mediator in the expression of other people's views. So
Yes.
I think it's wrong if, for example, somebody rings up with extreme policies, let's say racist policies. I believe they should have the right to say them. You have the right to believe what you want to believe, but then it's up to your peers and it's up to everybody else to make their own mind up and say, prat.
Well, okay, I accept that. What I am saying is that I think he was just basically wrong to say it, and I think he deserves to, in my opinion, he deserves the award, if you like, just for having the gall to say it, because, I mean, it's really, as you say, it's really gross. I mean, I'm not politically correct or anything like that, but, I mean, you know, I know that there are a lot of people who are anti-gay and lesbian, and there always will be. But, you know, people like that just rub it in. And, I mean, I would just like to say that, you know, you do actually have a lot of gay and lesbian listeners. And
Morning, gay and lesbian listeners.
yes, you know, and I would just like to say that, you know, please phone in and back me up, because he really does deserve this award, because
Because he's got a stupid name as well.
he's got a stupid name, he's got no talent, and his remarks, I mean, they really did annoy me.
What did he actually say?
Well, they were to the effect that all gay and lesbians are un-Christian, unholy, should be crucified, should be outcast, and all this business. And it was really very, very deeply offensive.
Is he some sort of religious maniac then?
Well, you'd think so, and yet when you listen to his music, I mean, he's recently absolutely murdered that great old song Family Affair, you know, which...
Sly and the Family Stone. That's the Cleveland mix, isn't it, Family Affair?
I mean, he's absolutely murdered it. He's got no talent at all. And, I mean, I blame the people for buying his records in the first place.
I blame the government.
Well, that's it.
Largely because it's traditional to do.
I just thought that it would be original. I mean, everybody will probably be saying John Major or whoever, but, you know, I mean, maybe it's from a personal perspective, but I think being gay, you do tend to take these things to heart, and...
Well, you see, the thing that I don't like about it is the fact that he's trying to tell other people what to do.
Well, exactly.
And using his religion to try and justify it, which puts him, he believes, on the moral high ground.
This is it, you see.
Well, I would argue that anybody connected with religion is basically something of a hypocrite. How can you have all that wealth concentrated in terms of how much land the various churches own, the various icons they own, the treasures they own? How can you own all that, call yourself Christians or whatever, and then watch half the world starve?
Well, this is it.
And then tell gays they should be crucified.
Well, this is it. I mean, the other thing I would say about it is that, you know, a lot of younger gay men and women. I mean, myself, for example, I only recently came out, if you like, to my close family, and it makes it that much harder for a younger person to tell their family, because they think that their family might be influenced by what they hear on television.
And what was the case? Was that the case?
No, because my parents were very understanding, but what I'm saying is that I think a lot of younger people, maybe in their early 20s or whatever, would see that, and they would be reluctant to say anything to anybody, you know, in case people didn't accept it.
Well, I've watched a few of my friends come out.
Yeah.
And they, I think they found it difficult enough.
It is, yes. It's hard enough anyway.
Without anybody piling the prejudice on them.
It is a very, very traumatic experience, and, you know, it really tests the family's ability to stick together. You know, it's one of those things which, if they can get through that, they can get through anything. But people like that, idiots like that, we just don't need them, you know. So I would nominate him, and I hope that the other gay listeners back me up. I really do.
Okie dokie then, Mark.
Okay then.
Thanks for that.
Cheers.
Enjoy your life, all right?
Bye.
Ta-ra. There we go, Mark. He says Shabba Ranks. That's who he's voting for. Plank of the Year because of his anti-gay, religious zealot-type remarks. So there we go. Shabba, you should be ashamed of yourself. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. It's Plank of the Year. Well, I've got a hair in my mouth. Thank you. That's a very dirty suggestion, madam, at the back. Thank you. Right, who do we go to next? We go to Paige. She's on this line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Paige.
Hi.
Shabba Ranks. I've never heard of him, actually, apart from that.
Oh, right.
Well, you had, presumably.
Vaguely.
Vaguely, okay, so only sort of semi-works these days, shock tactics.
Sorry?
Shock tactics. They used to be well known in the record and music industry in the 70s. You know, you get people like the Sex Pistols and that sort of thing, but it's obviously old hat now.
Oh,
Since you've only vaguely heard of him, or I've only heard of him vaguely as well. He's not doing a very good job, is he?
He's not, but we're showing our age now, aren't we, Ian?
Now, that competition doesn't actually come up to around about 3:30 in the morning. Yes, we are indeed. As you so rightly say, you're coughing better anyway, Paige.
I am.
You are. Who are you going to vote for? How do you spell that?
Can I vote for 2 or not?
Yes, of course. Oh, yes.
Or 3, actually. Well, it's 3, but 2 indecisively. First one is me.
You?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Paige, there you go. You just want the coveted letter, don't you?
No, I do not.
Oh, I do not.
I'm getting married. After 11.5 years.
No, there is a story behind this. Tell everybody the story.
Oh, no, do I have to?
Yes, you have to, because otherwise people won't understand why you're voting yourself as a plank. Might I say congratulations?
Well, no, not really.
All right, fair enough. Hard luck.
I've been going out with the fella for 11 well, I've actually been going out with him for 14 years. We've been living together for 11 years, 11.5 years. And I gave birth 8 weeks ago to a little baby girl, Courtney, who was beautiful. And I always said I wouldn't get married. And he said he'd never get married again. But we're doing so.
And when's the big day?
I don't know, but do you want to hear what the wedding invitation's going to read?
Go on.
It's going to read, Mr. Mark, once was enough, in brackets, Porter.
Ooh, yeah, once
And
was
Miss
enough.
and listen, and Miss Page, I will never marry, Silkston. Invite their friends to the ceremony of them eating their words.
That's quite clever, that.
I think that's wonderful, I do.
A meeting of minds across a spiritual chasm.
So, anyway, we're doing it. The 17th of January.
17th, right. Okay, well, good luck with that. Gonna need it.
Thank you very much.
No, I just don't mention
Well,
weddings.
you're not going to be there then. We were going to invite you, but we'll not now.
Oh, well, I've done myself out of a finger buffet, have I?
Just remember who's taking you 3,000 feet in the air, Pet.
That's okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
And the second one, or the second 2 I'd like to nominate for planks of the year, or even the decade, or even the 25 years, is Paisley and Adams.
Paisley and...
Adams. Jerry Adams and Ian Paisley.
Oh, yeah. Ian Paisley being, as somebody explained to me a couple of days ago, the biggest fundraiser the IRA have actually got.
Well, precisely.
Every time he opens his mouth, somebody else coughs up a fiver.
Yeah, precisely. That's why they've not... I mean, think on. If they wanted to have done away with him, they would have done a long time ago.
What's the point? What would be the point of that?
Well, precisely. The money would have stopped.
But then you see this peace initiative thing.
Yeah, but
it seems to me...
It took 3/4 of an hour before Paisley was storming into Downing Street with a petition or whatever. And it took probably 24 hours before Jerry Adams sort of turned around and said, well, we might think about it.
See, there were hitherto undiscovered tribes deep in the Amazon that knew that Paisley was going to storm in and say, this is a disgrace, it's a sellout, it's a darkest hour.
It doesn't matter, really. But
you
the two of them ought to come to realise that people in the North, they want peace.
I'm sure most people do.
They don't want idiots like that going in and putting their views forward. The British and the Irish government in the past 25 years have never got together, and they've got together now, and they've decided on some sort of prospect of peace. And instead of people backing it up, I mean, geez, when you come to think of it...
To be honest, I'll be brutally honest, right? And I'll say that, as I say, Paisley, so predictable. It's almost like an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. But as far as Adams goes, when I heard the initial reaction when I heard what it was all about and what the requirements were. I saw some Tory MP.
Sorry, just a sec. No, thanks. Yeah, go on.
I saw some Tory MP, and the Tory MP was saying, and of course, we don't just mean a ceasefire. We mean giving up violence forever. And to prove that they're going to do that, they've got to hand over the Armalites and the Semitex and all the weapons.
Yeah, and they know just how much they've got, don't they?
Yeah, but I thought, well, I put myself in the shoes of a Republican terrorist, and I thought the last damn thing I'd do is hand over my Armalite. Because you think about it, okay, there you go, there's my Armalite, you go home and you get X'd by a bunch of loyalist terrorists who've still got theirs. It logically, I think it's
yeah, but I mean,
it's impossible.
Neither of them are even going to give it a chance. That's what I'm saying. I can visualise now there being the most horrific Christmas at home in the north because of this. The UDF and well, to put it bluntly, the Prods and the Catholic are going to be fighting cat and dog and tooth and nail over this peace treaty.
But you see, it is, I believe it is an open door, and I think that the Republicans, the Sinn Féin, have to look at it and they have to say, that's for, that isn't. And they do have to put their own input into it.
Yeah, but it is fair to them. I mean, give up violence for 3 months and then they'll sit down and negotiate peace talks. That's the fairest deal they've ever had.
Yes, it was the handing the weapons bit that I found was slightly on the unrealistic side.
Oh, well, sure, they could hand over one and keep the other one by the side, couldn't they?
I think as a symbolic gesture, that'd be a great idea. I mean, I really do hope that there is peace, and I hope this sparks a chain of events that lead to it.
Well, we were all talking about this tonight, and we were saying, God, wouldn't it be great if there was? But there was there's 10 of 12 of us here tonight. God, you've got a very captive audience.
I have, haven't I? I think I've more or less doubled it.
And we were all on about it, and we were just saying, though, that it'll be the biggest bloodshed in the next couple of weeks, really. I mean, God knows everybody would love to see peace at home, but it'll not happen, and not like this, especially not with, like, Paisley and Adams rorking in on each other as soon as it's signed.
But I still think that it's so momentous that you have to give Sinn Féin time to respond to it. They were saying late last night that they wanted more time.
Yeah, but you see, Sinn Féin perhaps will back down, and then all you'll get is the UVF and the UTA taking their place, because they will not accept it. That is why Paisley's gone and handed his petition in.
But I wondered when there was no reference made to loyalist terrorists. I think that's a really bad term for them, but anyway, when no reference was made to them...
Oh, well, they're not recognised, are they? I mean, there's only the IRA, really, that's recognised as bad guys.
But then... Well, yeah, exactly, but then I wondered if maybe the reasoning behind that was that the terrorists would become a United Islands problem, ultimately.
Well, I mean, as I've often said before, I mean, in my opinion, they should just pull the troops out and let there be a civil war, and whoever wins, wins. And whoever doesn't faces the consequences.
But then you still have that problem, don't you, that as it stands at the moment, constitutionally, we have a responsibility to protect the citizens of Northern Ireland. I believe that constitution will change. I mean, call me Mr. Cynical. But as I was saying the other night, I've just got this funny feeling that as we've sort of looked at single parents, how can we save money there? The dole, how can we save money there? Even divorce courts, can we save money on divorce courts? Yes, we can. Now, what else is draining our economy? Well, there we have it, Northern Ireland. So how do we save money on that? Well, simple, we'll put a peace initiative together.
Yeah, but you'll never do it. And as for you were saying, I just heard actually while I was on the phone, you were on about the editor of The Sun, saying about, I actually didn't read it because I've never picked up the paper since it wrote something about the Birmingham 6, when they went for their appeal.
Yes.
And got turned down the first time. And I always remember on the front page it said murdering bar stewards. I won't say the proper word.
That'd be the right paper then, yes.
And then they've got acquitted.
I think it was the same.
And there was no apology or retribution or anything. And you were saying tonight that how they were saying that people pickpockets at Hillsborough, and I mean the fella that ran that story, there must be at the mines.
Well, if you go around Merseyside, around newsagents, you'll still see a big sign and it says, "No son, no apology." Listen, I've got to move on, Paige.
Okey-doke,
But we
then,
thank you for that, Paisley and Adams, and also yourself.
Yeah. If I win, what do I get?
You get a letter telling you that
all?
on official... Oh, what is that all? This is unique, this is. There is only one produced every year to tell you that you're the biggest plank in the cosmos.
Oh, God.
I know, you can have it framed, show your friends, it's a conversation piece.
All right, then.
All right, Paige.
Have a nice Christmas, because we went speaking to you before.
Okie dokie.
All right,
And
then.
you.
Bye-bye.
Sarah?
Bye-bye.
754 123 in Wolverhampton, 236 235 in Shrewsbury. Plank of the Year. We've got Kelvin Mackenzie, the editor of The Sun, Mr. Blobby the Chancellor, Sheba Ranks for his anti-gay religious zealot-type speeches. Paige has just been on because she's finally going to get married. And also Ian Paisley for his rather predictable performance in response to the Irish Peace Initiative. And also Jerry Adams for his also rather predictable response to the Irish Peace Initiative. I knew I'd get that wrong. Never mind. Hey, coming up next, we've got the captain, me old freak, me old cocket. He's going to be here after this.
Oh, look. Local phone company permanently cuts cost of 3-minute national calls.
On the best station. Beacon Radio.
Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. It's Plank of the Year. No clear leader emerging as yet. But next on the lines, it's me old cocker.
Hello, Fruitcake.
Hello, Teaspoon.
How are you, Blossom?
I'm okay, thanks, me old piece of tinsel.
Yeah.
We'll keep this festive.
You alright?
Yes,
You still
me old
coming
Christmas
Saturday,
present.
Petal?
Sorry?
Am you still coming on Saturday?
Oh, yeah, for the pensioners' party.
Pensioners party, yeah.
Wouldn't miss it for vast amounts of money and a night with Belinda Carlisle.
Good. We can have her if you want.
And-
We've got a pensioner called Belinda Carlisle.
And she'd have to give me large amounts of money to spend the night with her as well. Yeah, Belinda the pensioner.
Yeah, you alright?
Yes,
Anyway.
thank you.
I'm going to upset a few people now by naming my planks of the year.
And who's that then?
The police.
The police? What, the group?
Basically, all of the police constables, not the police constables, the chief constables of the, of the forces.
The chief constables of all the police forces.
Yes, because remember I wanted to join the police, Petal.
You applied to be an inspector, didn't you?
Yeah. I went last week and took the exam. Last Wednesday.
Now, didn't you cobble together an old police uniform from somewhere?
I got one and everything, and I went in my uniform and I polished all my shoes and everything, Petal.
Looking like an inspector should.
Yeah, and I went over to Birmingham to Lloyd House last Wednesday, and I sat the exam, the exam that they give you to do.
The entrance exam.
Yeah, the entrance exam.
Cunningly
And I
named.
was waiting for the result, and I thought that'd taken a long time. And the one who was examining me, he come out laughing. And I couldn't believe it. I thought, he's only impressed, you know what I mean? And he said to me, he says, I think you've applied for the wrong job. And I said, why? He says, well, he said the lollipop man section's up the road. He thought, because of the answers that I'd give, he said I was a bit thick. He said, so the only job we can offer you is a lollipop man.
So you're going to be a lollipop
Yeah,
man?
I've got the uniform and everything.
Well,
I'll start after Christmas, Petal.
That's the main thing, isn't it? At least you got a uniform.
Yeah, that's all I wanted, really, the uniform and everything.
A symbol of respect.
Yeah, but,
A symbol of authority.
Yeah, I really... You know what the pensioners are calling me now?
What?
Percy Sugden. Because I used to be a lollipop man.
Well, it's a very responsible position, Captain.
Yeah, it is, Petal, it is. I know. I shouldn't laugh at lollipop men, but, Petal,
But you actually wanted to be a police inspector.
I wanted to be a police inspector, yeah.
And they wouldn't let you?
No, so I'd like to nominate the police.
Were the questions very difficult?
Well, no, I didn't think that was difficult because the way that I answered them, I thought that was, but apparently, they'd never, in all the 100 years or whatever of the recruiting for the police, they'd never ever had answers like I'd given.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I can believe that.
Yeah.
Did you have to tell them what your hobbies were?
Yeah, everything, yeah, and they
So
asked...
curb crawling in a Robin Reliant. You didn't write that, did you?
Yeah, and they asked me what sort of car and whether I like driving, and I said what sort of, I told them what sort of car I'd got and everything, and, and that I was, I helped out in the local, things and did things like that and looked after pensioners and everything, Petal.
And they made you be a lollipop man.
And they,
what they've did is apparently they've given me. I've got a crossing right next to the old people's home.
Well, that's handy.
And it makes it, and I'll always be around old people and that. But I mean.
But there goes your promising career as Inspector Captain of the Yard.
Yeah, I was a bit upset, and that's why I haven't found you, Petal.
That's okay.
Because I didn't want to.
There's no disgrace in giving it your best.
I didn't want to tell you that I'd been made a lollipop man.
It's okay. I've heard worse over the year.
Yeah. All right then, Petal.
Okay, but apart from that, everything's set for the pensioners' Christmas.
Yeah, and I'll. The only trouble is we've got one of the pensioners who's been sucked in by the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh dear.
So she can't celebrate it with us.
What are we going to make her do then?
Oh, I don't know, Petal. I don't know.
Sit her in the corner?
She's going to have to go away. I'm going to have to send her away because, it's not fair on all the other pensioners, is it, Petal? Because Christmas is Christmas.
Have you made the hats out the newspaper again this year?
Yeah. I've got you a special one.
I've got a special hat to wear.
Yeah. I can't tell you then that.
Because it'd ruin the surprise.
Yeah, and the pensioners have done you a beautiful a Christmas present, and I can't tell you what it is because you got to wait until Saturday.
Did they make it themselves?
Yes.
Oh,
they made it themselves, yeah. And it's all glittery and everything.
I can't wait.
And, you can tell people about it on Monday because it's the grotto, isn't it, Petal?
It is. Are you going to come in and do your captain's freeze again?
Would you like me to come?
We'd love you to come in.
Oh, yeah, if you don't mind, Flower.
No.
No, all right then, Blossom.
Because we've got a special guest we'd like you to meet.
Have you?
Yes.
Good. Is it somebody famous?
Reasonably famous.
It isn't Princess Di, is it?
Oh, now you've gone and rumbled it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Petal.
Yeah, Princess Di will be here.
Oh, good.
I can absolutely guarantee you that. Princess Di will be here.
Good. Anyway, Blossom, I must shoot because I know you've got other people.
Okie dokie.
But I just thought I'd tell you, all the police, chief constables, not the constables, because the constables, I've got some very big friends constables.
Well, what fine officers they are.
Fine officers, Officer Aggie and Officer Eddie.
Fine upstanding members of the West Midlands Police Force.
Yeah, that's it. Just the chief constables. Bye, fruitcake.
Ta-ra, me old
Blossom.
Christmas present.
See you on Saturday.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
Hi, pensioners' party on Saturday. I'll let you know all about that in the grotto. But yeah, he's absolutely right. We will have Princess Di here on Monday, and a whole heap of people come to that in Santa's grotto. So, to recap, we got Kelvin Mackenzie, the editor of The Sun, Mr. Blobby the Chancellor, Shabba Ranks for his anti-gay religious zealot-type remarks, Paige, Paisley and Adams, sounds like a double act, doesn't it? And the chief constables of all the police forces in the world for making the captain be a lollipop man, which wasn't his original intention. His original intention was to be an inspector. I did try telling him that you don't go straight in, but what the heck. Okie dokie, next on the lines with a smiler song and a brand new catchphrase, Eric, good morning. He's listening to his wireless, but there again, it's nice to know that my delay is working.
Eric, good morning. He's listening to his wireless, but there again.
Eric?
That my delay is working.
Eric, I've heard this once. I wasn't... Oh, here it comes.
My darling.
Oh, what a fabulous catchphrase that is. You can't buy catchphrases like that. Not for cash. Good morning, Mr. Eric. Captain Napalm, how are you?
How are you?
Rocking and rolling, mate.
Hi.
Rocking and rolling.
Do you know your program's awful tonight?
Hey?
Putting in on it.
Well, we'll go around there and deal with them, Eric.
Hang on a minute.
Yes, we'll just hang on, don't worry. Good hurry, because we've actually got to sort of go to the news at 1 o'clock and just little things like that. Hello?
Here.
Eric?
I am glad, so glad to hear Tahina.
Katrina?
Her seems to be getting back to herself again, doesn't her?
She does.
Yeah. Can I offer Paige? Is her name Paige or Anna what?
Paige, yes. As in, page in a book, really, except spelt differently.
Well, I can only wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope her has a happy and prosperous New Year when I gets married.
Well, you're a very kind man, Eric.
You know, she don't know. I don't know.
Well, marriage is an institution, Eric.
It is.
He wants to live in an institution.
And it's a bloody suicide job half the time.
You reckon?
I do.
Words of wisdom.
Huh?
Words of wisdom, Biggie. Who are you going to vote for Plank of the Month? I mean, yeah, sorry, it's much more glittering than
Kenneth
month.
Clark.
Mr. Blobby, 2
Yeah.
votes, he goes into the lead.
He's the biggest plank. And the one is another one. Is Paisley has got thrown into the House of Commons.
The Reverend
House of Parliament.
Doctor and member of the Dennis and Nasher fan club, Mr. Ian Paisley.
Ah.
So 2 votes for them. Let's start with Mr. Blobby. What's he done to incur your wrath?
Ken,
Fat Ken, yeah.
put 11 bloody p on, packet of fags.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah, that's enough. Plank of the century.
Yeah, plank of the century.
I mean, it doesn't take I wouldn't have thought it'd take a lot of imagination to find something else to tax, would it? But admittedly, he left beer alone this time.
He left beer alone, a thing that does as much damage to life, to marriage, to homes, which he could have lifted that up. What he put on, he could have halved to what he put on cigs and put on beer.
Or alternatively, of course, he could have taxed rich people.
Yeah, he could have put more on them that's got the big fancy homes out in Spain.
And then I suppose if we're wasting money, well, I mean, we're not wasting it, but I mean, if the economy is containing wasteful losses, then maybe we ought to look at the fact that we actually pay government ministers $8,000 when they leave.
Yeah. And not only that, did you hear that MP saying the other day on the television? They get £30,000, £50,000 a year, right?
Right, and only work 7 months.
Then they work 6 or 7 days a week in their shops, in their businesses. They get travelling expenses, meal expenses, whatever they have is got on all on their expenses.
Basically, it's nice work if you can get it.
It is nice work if you can get it.
Where do I apply?
Well, don't apply to Maggie because hers a real bloody plank, because hers passed the arms back on to somebody else when her knows all about it.
Yeah, again, but there was hitherto undiscovered tribes deep in the Amazon jungle. I knew that she was going to say it was somebody else's fault. It can't possibly have been hers, can it? I mean, as she so rightly said, when you're Prime Minister, you get a lot of pieces of paper on your desk. You know, stuff like, we're going to start a nuclear war with Russia, is that okay? I mean, you know, just minor little unimportant things like that.
I'll tell you something, Ian. They're cutting the defence, they're cutting the aircraft, they're getting rid of the nuclear bombs and one thing and another, aren't they? But did you notice that election they had in Russia?
Yes, I think there's going to be panic buying of nuclear arms, if I'm any judge.
That image has got in, he wants Russia's arms back strengthened and everything of that and the other, doesn't he?
He certainly does. I'm not sure about the other, Eric, but he certainly wants to do the first ones.
Who's that? Shelton?
Yeah, that's him.
He wants democracy.
Oh, Yeltsin?
Yeah.
Well, he wants an approximation of democracy.
Yeah. But that other one has been voted in his partner. He wants to see Russia back harmed.
But then what do you do if you say to Russia, right, OK, you're now a democracy, so you can choose your own leader, and they go and choose democratically a neo-fascist? I mean, what was the point? They might as well just have stayed under communism, which is...
They had every bit, haven't they?
Well, as far as I can see, there's not a vast amount of difference between fascism and communism.
No.
It's all control, it's all subjugation. So I reckon top of the government's Christmas present list this year is some nice intercontinental ballistic missiles to point at strategic targets in the USSR, as was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Eric.
You know, I was in bed last night listening, and I heard Dennis on about a bomb that dropped a tongue.
Yeah, V2 Schneider.
Yeah, well, it never exploded.
Which is how they could read Happy Christmas from the Germans on it, presumably.
And, according to what I can gather information, it was near the Yankee barracks. And the only bomb that was dropped around this district, around this the Midlands was here like it was round Telford and that, was that a plane, a German plane, was on the run when the Spitfire spotted him, and he unloaded his bomb, one big bomb, just outside Builders Power Station.
In Tong again?
No, Builders Power Station.
Oh, right, sorry. So Shropshire was bombed twice then, was it?
Well, that's the only bombers went off.
I wonder, when these V2s come over, like, they floated over the target, the engines went for too long, so it went right over Birmingham and dropped on Tong. I wonder as it dropped and it didn't go off, I wonder if a little German voice piped up from across the channel and went, Schweinhund missed.
Well, I think myself, see the Mazzy men from off Mars, what do they call them?
The what?
The Mazzy men off Mars.
The Martians.
These midgets. I think they must have gathered it.
Hallucinogenic drugs in the cocoa, it's the only conclusion I can reach. Listen, Eric, thanks for that information.
Okay.
You're a very kind man.
All the best.
Ta-ra.
God bless to you all. Bye-bye.
It's very regal, that, Eric. Thanks a lot. Might even replace the Queen's speech with your speech Christmas Day. Why not? Because we know you're popular. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. And next on the lines, we've got Dave. Good morning. Well, maybe not on that particular line. Is that Dave? Is it Vaughan on this?
Yeah, it's Vaughan.
Hello, Vaughan.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Who
Can
are
I
you
change my mind?
If you want.
Yeah. I reckon the plank of the month is...
Yeah, it's Plank of the Year. It's a very glittering occasion.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Go on, Plank.
I reckon plank of the year is Sir Jack Haywood.
Ooh, controversial as ever. Who were you going to have?
I was going to have Graham Taylor, actually.
Well, you can have both. Let's start off with Sir Jack Haywood. He's the guy who's pumped heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps of money into Wolves, isn't he?
Yeah.
Are you a Wolves supporter?
No.
Yeah, well, there were hitherto undiscovered tribes deep in the Amazon jungle. He probably sussed that one out before I did. So why is he a plank?
Because... I don't know why, because he's put that much money in. I reckon they'll never get there anyway. Never get there to the Premier Division anyway.
But I used to say that about Manchester United, when they used to go out flashing the chequebook, and they never bought the right players. They always bought these sort of donkeys. It was either that or the abattoir, so they went to United instead. And they paid all this money for all these donkeys. And I said, you see, yeah, money will never buy you a football team. Now look at them. Well,
that's Manchester United, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Wolves.
Just all over. Just hang on there, Vaughan, because we've got to take the news. 754-123 in Wolverhampton, 236-235 in Shrewsbury. It's a glittering occasion, folks, because it's Plank of the Year. In the lead at the moment, at the halfway point, Ian Paisley and Mr. Blobby the Chancellor.
The best music on the best station.
News. This is John Terrett. A man's been charged with murdering a couple at their house in Hampshire. He's due in court in the morning. Philip Cottrell reports.
The victims were found at their semi-detached home in Southsea when worried neighbours called police after hearing screams. Teacher Janet Taylor's body was discovered in a cupboard. Her critically injured husband Brian, a university maths lecturer, later died in hospital. The family's pet dog was also killed. The man charged, 24-year-old Mohammed Amin Akanur, will appear before magistrates in Portsmouth later this morning.
ITV is to broadcast a peak-time apology over rude remarks by the entertainer Julian Clary during the British Comedy Awards. Millions of viewers heard him make a sexually explicit joke about former Chancellor Norman Lamont during the live show last weekend. Programme maker LWT has been told off by the Independent Television Commission, which says the incident was wholly unacceptable. A teenage boy has been taken to hospital after falling onto an overhead cable at a railway station in Glasgow. It's thought he tumbled down an embankment in the south of the city. Trains were stopped and the power switched off as fire crews worked to free him. There are no details of his condition. Police will resume the search for bombs along a Surrey railway line this morning after 2 IRA devices were found near Brookwood Station. The main line between London and Southampton will remain shut, causing more chaos for thousands of passengers. The attack came within 24 hours of the Downing Street Declaration for Peace in Northern Ireland. Jane Lee from British Rail says it's causing major problems.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have our line back until at least lunchtime. So what we're doing this morning is, once again, we're diverting some services to get some from Southampton through to Waterloo. Others, unfortunately, we will have to terminate at Basingstoke, and people will have to go via Reading to London Paddington.
A man's been put on a diet of bread and water by a judge in America after being convicted of cruelty to animals. His German Shepherd, called Butch, had been virtually starved and lost about 40 pounds in weight. The weekend in jail, without proper food, is designed to put him through the same torment as the dog endured. Independent Radio News.
The latest satellite picture, direct from John Warner Satellite, Meteosat 4.
Whoops, me again. Right, slight frost overnight. The low -1 Celsius, that's 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Cloudy with rain during the late morning today and early afternoon, turning to drizzle as we approach the evening. The outlook for the weekend, mild and windy with rain. The air quality is very, very good, so you can breathe as much as you want. And the temperature now is -1 Celsius, 30 degrees Fahrenheit.
The best music on the best station. Beacon Radio.
Okie dokie, me old culture lovers, it's the Midnight Line on Beacon and WABC. A glittering occasion this is as well, as we do our annual Plank of the Year. In the lead at the halfway stage, Mr. Blobby, the Chancellor, and Ian Paisley. However, the amazing Sir Jack Hayward getting a, Your Majesty, sir, not me, you understand, got a nomination from Vaughan. Hello, Vaughan.
Hello.
Can you buy a football team?
Not really, no.
But then he seems to have got. You see, I looked at the way he did, or the way he's going about it, and I think it's probably the way to go about it. Is first of all build yourself a stadium, and build yourself a stadium that instills pride in the team.
I reckon to buy a team, you've got to have
money.
Yeah, money. That's one thing.
Ha! Got it right.
And you've got to have skill at the same time.
Yeah, I remember the old days when Paisley, or Praiseby as we knew him around the Merseyside region, and Shankly would just go and raid the lower divisions. They'd go and find some kid like, Keegan, or Clements, and buy him for nothing, practically, from clubs like Scunthorpe and Scunthorpe in those particular cases. And the next thing you know, they're international players. Maybe I think that the skills to a large extent has gone out of it. That there's so much money in football now, you can just afford to throw it. I mean, how much has Souness spent trying to get Liverpool right? What is it, 23, 24 million pounds?
Well, about that, yeah. But I mean, like, if you wanted a player, I mean, I reckon I'm not a Nottingham Forest, supporter or anything like that, But I mean, if you wanted a player, you'd have to go for someone like Stan Collymore instead of like Kelly or someone like, something like that.
But then you've got to ask yourself the question: where did Nottingham Forest get Collymore? You know what I mean? I think it's the bigger clubs. It's this skill thing. I think it's wrong that you should have £23 million that you can just throw at players. If you had £3 million, you might look a little more carefully.
Yeah, but they got the money, haven't they?
Yeah, but that's why, because there's so much money, the skill's gone.
Yeah, but you got me divid here.
No, I think it is largely a result of having too much money in the game. If you've only got £3 million to spend, you're going to be dead careful how you spend it, aren't you?
You am, yeah.
If you got 23, we'll have him, and him.
What's the use of staying with the same people? No, the same team. You ought to change them and get a better team. That's when you know you're going to the top.
Well, I'd swap our lot for Tollymash Road Mixed Infants second 11.
I don't think you support Liverpool, don't you?
Yes.
I don't think the manager you got now is any good.
Suicide, as unfortunately the Sun put it the other day. No, he isn't. But then I suppose only one person can win a league, can't they? Only one team can do it. But there are some good managers knocking around. The manager of Norwich City, for example, I don't know who he is, but what a football team he's produced.
Yeah, pardon me.
And for nothing.
Yeah, but like I say, this like it's supposed to have been that Wolves is going to have Graham Taylor. It's supposed to have been. It's a big but.
Are going to have Graham Taylor?
Yeah, Walls was.
What would you want him for?
No, but
What's he going to do, sell the match programmes?
He's no good anyway, you know what I mean? But I mean, what about buying, instead of buying, like, players, what about buying a better team? Buying a better manager and what Graham Turner is?
Who do you support, Vaughan?
Me. West Brom.
The Baggies.
The Baggies.
There's not just a little element of local rivalry in this, is there? Just the teeny weensiest little bit.
But we did beat them, actually.
Oh, no. This is going to be worse than the Battle of the Boyne, isn't it? We've been remembering that for 200 years.
We did beat them, though.
Yes, I thought what, again, something that underlines the sad state of our national game was the fact that Aussie went.
Yeah.
I mean, my reaction was, well, get lost then, you Jesse. But I think it's very sad because he was definitely building a momentum at the Hawthorns.
I reckon if he would have stayed with Albion, would have been in the Premier, would have been up there now. Like, not in the Premier, but would have been up there now.
With the Tranmere Rovers.
With the Tranmere Rovers. Would have been, whatever knows, would have been there.
Okie dokie, what went wrong with Mr. Taylor then? Turnip, was it media pressure? Taylor, yeah.
I reckon with Taylor, it was a load of crap, and I reckon,
Now, you see, if Jimmy Greaves had said something like that, that'd basically be the end of the programme, wouldn't it? Because you can't add much to that. What went wrong with the England team? Crap. Yeah, fair enough, Jim. Words of wisdom, as ever.
What went wrong with him?
Yeah.
He never played the people he's supposed to have played. It was just stupid. It was just,
you mean he picked 11 players, told everyone he picked them, and then sent out a totally different 11? That was to confuse the opposition. Confusing tactics.
Not really.
I think if you can put it, I mean, everybody seems to have forgotten about the World Cup now, but I haven't, because I'm still bitterly disappointed that the England team won't be going, because it takes the edge off my favourite 4-week period in 4 years. I really like the World Cup. I love getting up and watching 3 games a day. And I get severely depressed after it, because you're not going to get that much football, and you're not going to be able to tune in and watch the Brazilians and the Uruguayans and the Macaroons. And it grieves me that we won't be there. But I think it went wrong. It was Poland. It was Poland and Holland, the 2 draws. That's where they went wrong. In Poland, they didn't look like they were bothered. And in Holland, when beating Holland, was it 2-0 they were up?
Yeah.
And you leave it to 2-2. That is strategically daft. If you're 2 goals up, you should never lose a 2-goal lead. Never. Not at that level.
Shall I say the only person we missed was Lineker? The only person we missed was Lineker.
Yes, but he was too busy being interviewed to be the new royal family. I think he made a better job of it.
Knowing Lineker, yeah.
Okie dokie then, Vaughan. Thanks for those.
Okay then. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ta-ra then.
Ta-ra.
Anyway, I'm a first-time caller.
Okie dokie. It didn't hurt a bit, did it?
And can I have a photograph of you?
Of my lower jaw?
Yeah, well, anything.
Okay, well...
Not that, anyway.
Oh, if you hold the line, we'll take your address, because we are expecting them before Christmas, and they're dead roughy tufty as well. Sponsored by Street Bike in Dudley and West Bromwich, come to that. And if I was going to buy a huge, attractive motorcycle for Christmas, well, I would most certainly make Traxxas there, because they have got probably the best deals in the entire cosmos. Who have we got next? Kevin, good morning. Kevin, give us a K, give us an E, give us a VIN. Have we got you? Oh, thank you.
Me.
You.
Me.
Good, yes, you.
Yeah, then. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, Kelvin.
Kelvin?
Yes, not Kevin.
I was, sorry, the intercom isn't working too brilliantly.
Oh, sorry about that.
I get the wax out of my ears.
Nomination Plank of the Year Award. Would you believe Julian Clary?
Would I believe Julian Clary would do what?
Not what he would do so much as the fact he gives gays a bad name.
Does he?
Stereotypical. He gives a stereotypical image.
I always thought the village people were more stereotypical.
And makes them, us, a bit of a laughing stock.
Do you think?
Oh, I think so.
I'm not entirely sure that you can stereotype gays.
There's no stereotyping of gays as such, but there is an impression given that gays are stereotyped simply by the actions of Julian Clary and the remarks he makes and the way he walks, the way he dresses, and so on.
But doesn't it make it more acceptable because it's more accessible?
I suppose it might make it more accessible in a sense, but it gives the stereotypical image that I mentioned.
But then you could argue then that Bernard Manning gives heterosexuals a bad name.
Well, I suppose you could put it that way, but if you consider Bernard Manning as an exception, I think Julian Clary is not considered an exception, but as a norm for gays.
Do you think... I just heard Boy George in the background.
Actually, you did, yes, somebody's prompting me here.
Boy George. I think Boy George comes over as an incredibly articulate and deep-thinking person, also a very, very sensitive person.
Yeah, but as I say, the nomination I made was in fact Julian Clary. Hang on, my boyfriend wants to speak. Hello, I'm Boy George.
You're Boy George, are you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, very, very funny. Goodbye. You give Pratt a bad name, pal. Right, who have we got next? Sorry, tell me again. Okay, we'll speak to Vicky. Good morning.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning.
Good morning. Right, my plank of the year
is.
I'm going to remind you of it. The bloke who started all this hoo-ha about date rape a few months back. He took a woman out for a date and spent so much money on her and then expected sex with her.
Ah, he was the solicitor, wasn't he, or barrister or something?
Yeah.
Didn't he? He took her to.
He took her out somewhere pricey. He spent, I think it was £100, wasn't it? Something like that. Quite a bit of money anyway. And expected
100 quid? Nothing.
Well.
So he took her out, and but then didn't they go back to his flat or her flat, and she got a kit off?
Yeah, but that means nothing, does it? You know what I mean?
Well, he obviously thought it did.
I mean, it could have been a hint for him to get lost, you know.
Oh, it's a pretty strange way of giving a hint.
Well, if I walked into my living room in my nightclothes, I'd sort of expect someone to think, oh, she wants to go to bed.
Oh, well, yeah,
but
yeah.
if I'm like in my nightclothes, get stuffed, you know.
Yeah, but
go away.
She did undress in front of him, didn't she?
Maybe that was a mistake on her part, but
yeah, I'm not for one moment saying that justifies.
Yeah, but he still had no right to touch her.
No,
and he's a plank for that.
He didn't, and there's I can't remember if it's here or America now, but there's certainly a club whereby you have to sign a form before you go in.
You do at certain universities in this country as well.
Yeah, but saying like how far you expect to go on that particular evening.
Yeah.
Has it come to that?
Yeah.
How do people read signs then? I mean, we seem to have been doing it really quite well and quite effectively up until this concept of date rape.
Well, I don't know, but I've just had a phone call from an ex-boyfriend, right?
Right.
And he is more or less pestering me, and I hope he's listening now. He's more or less pestering me. He has phoned me up tonight and he said, can I come down? I've said no. He said, why not? Who's there? Nobody. But he doesn't see it like that. There's got to be somebody here. Actually, I'm expecting a knock on the door from him anyway.
Well, what right has he got to do that?
God knows.
Well, the answer to that is absolutely none.
Well, he was tipsy as it was, so like, mind you, I'm prepared for that.
Why, you got a bottle of vodka in?
Nah. You know what I've got by the side of my bed. I've told you enough times.
What have you got by the side of your bed for people who weren't listening the last time you were telling us?
A bloody great hammer.
Oh, it's a hammer now. It was a knife, I believe, last time, wasn't it?
Oh, no, I carry that round in my handbag.
Oh, yes, fine. Well, of course, along with the compact, you wouldn't feel dressed without it, would you?
Oh, well, why not?
Knife. But do you accept that sometimes... I mean, I'm not saying in this particular case, but sometimes people do give out the wrong signals.
Well, no, there is no wrong signal. Either you say yes or you say no, and that woman said no. I was raped myself. I said no. That meant nothing to him. It meant absolutely nothing to him.
So he just carried on.
Yeah.
And sod you, basically.
Yeah, basically.
See, I can't in any way condone rape, because I think it's one of the most vile crimes there is. But, I mean, call me old-fashioned, but I was always brought up to believe that if a girl says no, she means no, not probably.
Damn right.
So why do people misinterpret the signs?
Because they've had too much to drink, because they're just plain stupid.
Is it arrogance?
I think certain men, I'm not saying all men, because I do know nice blokes who like say, well, is it yes or is it no? But certain men
Please sign a consent form.
Yeah, but certain men think, well, she must fancy me really, it's just to turn me on. She's doing this.
Why?
But it's not. It's because I don't want to.
But you see, I can't, even from a male perspective, I can't see that a woman saying no would be in any way lead me to believe that she really meant yes. I mean, I couldn't conceive, for example, because I'm male, but I couldn't conceive that a woman would be saying no to turn me on.
Well, I think it's the big fight, innit? It's like...
I mean, yes, dressing up in a frogman's outfit, I can see that. Bringing your own industrial Swarfega, yes, I know, I can accept that as well. A box of soapy frogs, yes, I can see that. But no, I can't see that, no...
Hang on in, soapy frogs.
Yes.
You'll have to explain that to me later.
Fine. But I don't understand that if somebody says no, that can be interpreted as a turn-on. I think it has to be interpreted as no.
Well, it's like the old line that some of them quote with the man who actually raped me. It was like, you like to be treated rough. I do not like to be treated rough by men or women or anything. Rough is not good.
But then, it is a fact that some people do, but I mean, there's... I mean, that's something you discover, isn't it? It's not something you decide.
Yeah, but like, if I said to you, you're welcome to stay at my flat, stay in the living room, you're not in my bedroom, no way, full stop, stay out of it. Would you think that meant yes?
No, I think that would mean you're staying in my living room, you're not on, stay out of it.
Yeah. Well...
I know that's a strange interpretation.
Yeah, well, maybe I was speaking a different language that night, but it didn't mean that to him.
So date rapists anywhere. Arrogant males who believe that they can read the situation when they can't.
Yeah. But, to be fair, there is an element of rape going around where women are actually raping men.
Is there?
Yes. There is.
Get off.
Honestly.
How do you work that one out? Fleecing?
Well,
fleecing? I understand that. There are situations where women are fleecing men, yeah, I understand that. But raping?
Well, look at it this way.
How do you rape a bloke?
Well, all a woman's got to do, really, is... The man is there, yeah? If a woman presented herself to you, you'd have difficulty sort of saying, no, thank you.
Not really.
You would really, if it was presented in a certain way.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think I would. In fact, no, it's not I don't think I would. I'm absolutely sure I wouldn't.
Well, certain men can't say that. Certain men cannot say that. And it does happen. A few months back I was reading in a magazine that one bloke actually had his legs ripped to shreds by a gang of women trying to rape him.
Ugh, where was that?
I think it was in Manchester.
Oh, well. Explains it then, doesn't it?
You like Manchester, do you?
Said it, I don't really care about Manchester one way or the other, as long as it stays where it is. So you reckon that it's not quite a uniquely male problem?
Well, it's mainly male, put it like that. It is mainly male.
Okie dokie.
But just lately women are trying to get the upper hand more so.
Is that a power kick?
I wouldn't know, I've never tried it.
Well, you must have a theory about it.
I think men are just very arrogant and women are trying to be men, to be honest with you.
Women are trying to be blokes?
Yeah, in that way.
Okie dokie, so maybe it is a power kick. All right, we've got your vote. You're a very kind person and we thank you for that.
Thank you, Ian.
Ta-ra.
All right, bye.
754 123 in Wolverhampton, 236 235 in Shrewsbury. It is Plank of the Year, a glittering occasion at Beacon and WABC's Midnight Line. In the lead still, Mr. Blobby, the Chancellor, sharing the lead with the Dr. Reverend and member of the Dennis and Nasher fan club, Ian Paisley. Well, what a surprise. You want to cast your vote? You better get your calls in quick. 754 123 in Wolverhampton, 236 235 in Shrewsbury.
Gather round, Mounties! It's time to compose ourselves.
When John LaBatte fulfilled his dream in 1847, he brewed a beer so cool and clear it tasted just like, oh, heaven. And now his name and LaBatte's fame has spread from town to county. A Canadian brew so crisp and true and smoother than a Mountie.
That's smooth. Brewed in the UK, Labatt's Canadian Lager. It's so cool, it's cold.
20% off everything at the Christmas gift shop in BHS. Someone's been over mincing the pies.
But it's only until the weekend.
Get your figure out of that pudding and pop into BHS right now.
Travel in style to the Wolves vs Bristol City match on Saturday the 18th of December with the Wolverhampton Wanderers Travel Club. There's free raffle prizes en route with a chance to win a VIP day out at Molyneux for a future Wolves game. Our coaches leave at 11 a.m, costing $6.50 for adults and £4 for children. To book your seat, telephone Amanda Davis or Joe Granger on 0902 231 66. Remember, if you travel with the Travel Club, you're travelling with the Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I've been driving, travelling, heat up the miles and clock.
At mobile service stations, you can collect Argos Premier points electronically and redeem them against over 4,000 fabulous gifts at Argos. You can even add cash to get exactly what you want when you want it.
And I am only 24 toasters from Scunthorpe.
Premier points from participating mobile service stations. No tokens, no hassle, no end of choice.
The best music on the best station. Beacon Radio.
Such as the terrorist never grew up. I hope she never will. Broken down TV sits in the corner. Pictures standing still. Standing still. Dutch as the terrorist knows all her heritage. Vicious Henry's here. Knows all her history in the family. Needs a man, God forbid. God forbid. And it sounds like an empty house. Standing still. And it's quiet as a mouse. Standing still. Dutch as the terrorist never grew up. I hope she never will. Says she's an heiress, sits in her terrace. Says she's got time to kill, time to kill. And the Romans are queuing up. God forbid. And they all want to win the cup. God forbid.
Sound of the Stranglers on Beacon and WABC from their greatest hits, 77 to 1990. That was Duchess. Okie dokie, it's the Midnight Line, this glittering night of nights, as we decide who is going to carry off the coveted award of Plank of the Year. And he happens once a year. And right at the moment, Mr. Blobby the Chancellor, Fat Ken, and the Reverend Doctor, member of the Dennis and Nasher fan club, Ian Paisley, as well. They're in the... I haven't got a clue I'm meant to be going to next. We'll try this line. Who's on this line?
Hello.
Hello, who's that?
Zoe.
Hello, Zoe.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Zoe.
Hold on, Ian.
Hold on, Ian. Now, somebody else already bagged that for a catchphrase, I'm afraid.
Sorry, Ian. I
It's okay.
have to switch off my radio.
Okie dokie, Zoe.
Hello.
Hello. How are you this morning?
I'm fine, thanks.
Thanks.
Don't copy my accent.
I'm not. I haven't.
Because
wasn't.
nobody can copy my accent.
My accent. I wasn't. I wasn't.
Thank you. You just imitate me.
Imitate? I'm not. I wouldn't do that.
Oh, I know that.
I know that.
Ian wouldn't do nothing like that.
Nothing like that,
No.
Zoe.
No.
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 That's a Polish accent, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It is a Polish
No,
accent.
it's mixed now, Ian.
Well, yeah, but originally.
Because when I've been to Poland once, I got the accent there, believe it or not, as well.
Oh, if I go back, if I go back to Merseyside, they say, and it's the worst insult you could possibly have.
No.
But they say, no, if I go back to Merseyside,
Yeah.
they say, hey, you're talking like a brummie.
Some people
I'm
say...
in black country, sure, except for
Do you
brummie.
think this is the worst accent here,
What?
in black country?
No, not at all, because
No, this is. I think people should be proud of their own original accent.
Absolutely.
I mean, I used to be very ashamed every time I opened my mouth. You foreigner. I think, oh, bless it. But now I'm proud. I think I'm unique.
Yes. Well, you're certainly that, Zoe.
Yeah, I know. I tell you something, Ian, people never take me for Polish. I don't know, my looks or something. They always take me Spanish or Italian.
Your accent is actually very, very close to Italian.
Yeah, everybody, whenever I met...
Everybody.
And I never admit to them I'm playing up. I say, well, guess. And I always say I'm Irish. Just to confuse them.
What would okie dokie culture lovers be in Polish?
Oh, Ian, you're asking me. Culture is kultura.
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 Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Oh, Ian.
Well, that'd be okie dokie.
Yeah, I haven't got the answer for that. I'm sorry.
And what lovers? Kultura lovers?
Lover.
Yeah, well, culture lovers, so it'd be
Culture lover.
kultura.
Lover, miłość.
Miłych.
Miłość kultury.
Miłych kultury.
Miłość kultury.
Hold on.
Anything else, Ian?
Oh, I'm just going to do it, that's all. Okie dokie, miłych kultury.
That's it.
There you go.
Fine.
Multilingual. Actually, we get letters from Poland, believe it or not.
Do you?
Yeah, they pick up the WABC frequency.
I tell you something. Poland does love England. They do in Poland. When I've been through 20 years ago, when we had the World Cup with Poland, and they were absolutely overwhelming. They absolutely love England.
Well, we're the boys who weighed in 1939, aren't we, you see?
Yes. Yeah.
And we're the boys who tried to help the Warsaw Uprising.
Yeah. I tell you something, Ian. What frightens me now is this blessed new madman in Russia.
Well, what would Russia be without a madman in charge?
Well, this is it. They voted, but it's absolutely... It does frighten me. I think we had a little bit sort of brightness and a sky and a horizon with communist gun. I think he's stopped it a lot now.
Yeah, but I think it's probably a reasonably natural knee-jerk reaction to deprivation.
Well,
because you have to have something to believe in, don't you?
Yeah, but I think it's a good job that we do have reaction, and it's a good job that we do talk, because I think, like you say in Poland, people do listen to England, and I think if they listen to the reaction, I think it gives them, if somebody's stupid, to something to think that they're doing wrong, not to really put him in power. That is my opinion.
What, they shouldn't have put him in power?
Definitely, no way.
But I think you've got to look at the reasons they did.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, the G7 nations were incredibly stingy in terms of economic aid to get a framework for a Russian economy going. Not to kickstart it, because the infrastructure isn't really there. So they were incredibly tight. And I mean, if nothing is going to be done by the West, then the Russians are going to go their own way, and they're going to say, "Oh, we're proud to be Russian. We're Russians," and they're going to vote for press.
I agree with you that entirely. Yes.
I mean, you can solve it in how many words does it take? And you can solve it in about 10 words. Any trouble off you, and you get an intercontinental ballistic missile on the head.
Yeah.
And we ain't messing.
That's it.
The only problem with intercontinental ballistic missiles, as far as I can see, is that the fallout tends to blow back this way. We have to wait till the wind's in the right direction. Have a little man stood on a roof of a silo somewhere with his finger in the air.
Yeah, like you said not far ago, I think a couple of nights ago, the Welsh will have a roasted lamb again.
Absolutely, yeah, self-cooked lamb.
You can see I'm listening. You can hear I'm listening to you program.
Well, I have a little dial on this desk that tells me. So Zoe, it's got Zoe is either in or out, and the in button's lit tonight.
I tell you,
I've got them for all of you.
Yeah, I know.
I've got 31,000 buttons here.
Yeah, and I tell you something, Ian. I think you are like to me. I don't drink alcohol or take any kind of drug. I think I'm like drug addict to your radio.
Well, do you know, I don't take any drugs apart from the socially acceptable ones, but I really don't like taking pills. I got this thing about taking pills, and I really hate them because I don't know what's in them.
No, there's lots of things. I think if we know everything, some of us got to take. Yeah, some of us got to. I take some for medication.
Well,
I do not like. I mean, I don't like to take.
I've got a 5-day course of antibiotics sitting on my bathroom cabinet, looking at me, saying, "When are you going to take me then?" I'm not, mate. Well,
You're not.
Well, yeah, I suppose I got to really.
Yeah,
but
you got to. It's worse when you start with antibiotics. As you know, I'm not doctor, but if you start and leave it halfway through, you really, whatever your problem, you prolong that problem, and it's.
No, well, I haven't started it yet. I'm just sort of looking at it. And
you're just waiting.
Yeah, thinking, maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll start it tomorrow.
Well,
you see, I don't know what effects do antibiotics have on people. I don't know.
Well, every individual is different. I know if you can have pain in the stomach.
Oh,
you can be depressed. And I'm not doctor. I'm not going to tell you. I want to tell you who's my...
Clank of the year.
Yeah, I maybe will be deported back to Poland when I say.
I doubt it.
Prince Charles.
No, I don't think so at all.
Well, I thought...
Do you know that we were saying that the WABC signal can be picked up in Poland? And did you know that the Beacon signal can be picked up by Charles's ears?
Can?
Oh, yes.
Well, Charles, I tell you twice, you are 10 times blank. I really think he is. He's the biggest blank.
Well, a lovely girl like Princess Diana.
Yeah, exactly. She's
any man's mother would be proud if he brought Princess Diana back to tea and said, "I'm going to marry this woman, mother."
Oh my God! I would lay all my red carpet. I would buy you one. No, I think she's a fantastic lady. And I mean, for his children, what that man? Where his brains?
Well, I think he sits on them.
I think he lost them somewhere. I mean, fancy what he done to